Hello boys and girls, welcome back to Ana Dialogue, the dialogue on analog music reproduction. And today, in fact, we are going to talk on how to get the best out of your reel-to-reel machine, and meaning the reel-to-reel tapes you have at your home, your studios, wherever you are. Are you ready? Let's go now. Okay guys, now maybe you're about to purchase a machine, you've read some things on forums, maybe you have already some machines and you're not that happy with the results, with the sonics. Something is good, but you're trying to understand. You're listening also from other people, your friends, forum, festivals, meetups, where you are hearing incredible sonics. There is a reason. Most probably, those people are using an external tape head preamp. Yes. And I reach this conclusion and also started my search when I brought at a certain level my phono preamp, my record playback. When it was very high top-notch quality, I understood that the reproduction of my vinyl records was better than my reel-to-reel tapes. And I said, no, there's something wrong here. It can't be. I have an excellent machine. Actually, I have two. As you know, I have a Studer A810, also my Telefunken M15, my 4-track, my Philips N4520. In the past, I also had other stuff, Nagra, Revox, blah, blah, blah. But if you really want to get the best out of these tapes, you're going to need a tape head preamp. And that is why I understood that I had to do something, because the Studer, mostly the Studer, and one would think a Studer, a professional master recorder Studer, yes. Because in fact, we must remember that we have to do a small generalization. Since European models, we could say Nagra, Studer, Telefunken, and there are many, but also we could include the Japanese, have excellent transports. And transport is a very important part of the reproduction. In all its parts, the tape tension, how it's winding, the flow of the tape. I mean, there's so many things connected to transport. It's very important. Just like the rotation, the spinning of our records, it has to be very, very accurate. Same goes with tape. But when the signal is extracted from those tape heads, we need exceptional preamp quality. Otherwise, we're going to lose down the road all that juicy sonics that we are looking after, that we are chasing. And in fact, I think the Studer is an emblematic case because, as once again, excellent transport, decent electronics, but not that good. I mean, any kind of Ampix is going to be much better. In fact, that's the other part of the generalization that in America mainly, but not only, clearly, it depends from the models. The Ampix models, the Ampix machines, ATR, following in the ATR models, etc., have astonishing preamp integrated in them, and a poor, we could say, or medium quality transport. So we tried to get the best of the both worlds. And that is why in a recent video I did on how to choose your first reel-to-reel machine, here's a link, you're going to find all the links in the video description, I said, you guys, just get a good machine that has a good transport, and then you're going to have to, if you really want to get the top of the tops, send the signal outside to an external preamp. And it's something very difficult to do, because clearly you have to pick up the signal directly from the heads, okay? Directly from the heads. It's something difficult. Not everyone can do it. In some cases, there are already some models that have an output of the head signal. So in that case, very easy. probably I'll do a video dedicated to a few models and their mods, where to find them, how to do them, who is doing them, in order to speed up this process. But today we're going to focus on the preamp itself, okay? And afterwards, in the second part of the video, we're going to explore all the different models. I just wanted to mention the Telefunken M15, not M15A, M15. This is a special machine because, in my opinion, it has an excellent transport and an excellent preamp. Solid state, so you know I'm a tube guy, but that solid state of the Telefunken here, I think you can see it, maybe not, it's here. It's just at another level. And the prices, even though now are higher than when I purchased them, are still low in respect to the Studers, to the Nagras, to the ATRs, and all the other Otaris and things like that. The professional Otaris, they all go for crazy prices. So, this is the solution to reach audio nirvana. So let's try to see what are the main characteristics I think should be in a tape head preamp before diving into different models. Well, obviously you're going to need something that can be switched from an IEC, also known as CCIR equalization, to our NAB. Usually the CCIR is in Europe, NAB in the US, but you're going to want both tapes. A lot of new productions are in IEC, CCIR, so you want that. Absolutely, you want both worlds. Trust me, sooner or later. So that, and these equalizations should be available for all the different speeds. Yes, there has to be a switch, a button, something where you can put like 7.5 inch per second, 15 inch per second, 30 inch per second for these speeds, even though the 30 inch per second has its dedicated curve actually. But for the other speeds below that, you can have both equalizations. And a lot of models don't have that, unfortunately, as we will see. Number two, as I said, direct connection with the head. The signal has to be picked up there and sent directly to the preamp. Otherwise, it's going to pass through electronics. There's going to be a double preamplification. You don't want that. Direct signal, remember. Inductance is key. Point number three, meaning that the preamp settings has to deal with this, especially if you want to connect, if you're using newer model of heads, of tape heads, that have a high inductance, or the vintage models which have usually a low inductance. That is something that you have to look out for, because there are preamp heads, preamplifiers, tape head preamplifiers that have a selection in that case, or an auto adjustment. So that is fundamental, and also the inductance must be calculated based on your head, also considering the cable. It can't be too long. It has to be constructed in a certain way. Otherwise, the inductance is just going to kill the dynamics. The frequencies is going to be a mush. So that's why I'm saying that it's not something easy to do in the weekend. You need a technician if you don't know what to do, how to do it by yourself, if you're not an engineer or something. Also, it's good to look out for a low impedance, which it creates a better matching between the head and the preamp. That is also something important. The inductance and the impedance must be controlled. I would look for something with a balance input, because the signal is balanced from the tape heads. The outputs can be unbalanced. Nevertheless, if you have both or balanced, I would say it's better to maintain, but even the circuit has to be balanced, not just the outputs. Also, another good idea is an external power supply for the preamp, okay? If it's integrated, it will create noise, as we all know. These are very subtle, weak signals, very weak. If you have a power supply inside, transformers and things like that, it's going to bring noise. So separate the darn thing. Finally, in my opinion, I think that the best of the best, and not only in my opinion, is a tube-based preamplifier. You want to get the real nuances, that sound of the past, you gotta go for tubes, in my opinion. Although we're gonna see a few solid-state jewels which are interesting, and it costs a little more. Maybe you could do a gradual step-by-step. Okay, we are ready now to take a look at a few models. Some are cheap, some are insanely expensive, and these are just a few, okay? Afterwards, I'll give you my final take. Let's dive in now. Yes, I forgot to underline the fact that what we are about to see is a selection, an overview of the main models, some discontinued, some still in production, some that have to come out yet, but I have not tried them, obviously. I have not tested them, okay? Except for one or two. So this is just to present them, okay? Are you ready? Let's go.
Okay, guys, let's try to take a look now. Let's do an overview of the main models out there, tape head preamplifiers out there. Okay, let's start from saying that it's important to remind ourselves that there are excellent tape head preamps in the past. We could say vintage. Especially the Ampix one are just considered the best of the best. A lot of people, in fact, modify them to use them as microphone preamps, but you can also still use them for tape head preamps. Actually, that's their first use. And for example, the MR70 is considered one of the best of all time. Absolutely. As you can see, you have the double equalization. You have everything here, all the different types of speeds. I mean, all tube. It's amazing. The sound quality is amazing. And we must admit that it is difficult to do the right mod. I mean, someone has to help you in order to connect a modern head or a vintage type of head of your Studer, of your Telefunken, of your Ampix, ATR, whatever it is, okay? It's not that easy. But if you're chasing, if you're after one of the best, this is absolutely one of your top choices. As also for the Ampix 351, absolutely. Or the 350. These are all amazing amplifiers. And this is much cheaper than the MR70. The MR70 goes for crazy prices. This is already more human, but again, it has to be modified because it has special plugs behind. But I did want to mention this. Let's start taking a look now at the true tape head preamps, modern productions. A few of them are out of production, unfortunately, but I do want to signal them because you may find them in the used market. So, one of the most important and renowned is surely the Doshi tape head preamp. Now, up in just a few months ago, we had the version 3 of their tape stage. Now they have the Evolution. It came out last year, and it's still based on as you can see here, the 12AT7 and the ECC99. And this is just fully fledged. I mean, it has everything that you can imagine. All the possible bells and whistles and separated power supply, beautiful, gorgeous VU meters. I mean, this is a top-notch preamp. And a lot of people, in fact, invest in this. And I use the term invest because we are going at least in the 20 grand section, meaning $20,000. And the Evolution is even more. So bear in mind all of this. It also has a remote control. I mean, it really has everything. And they rarely hit the used market, unfortunately. Okay, let's proceed. Here we have the Master Trident tape head preamplifier by Merill Audio. And it's considered one of the best out there. I mean, together with the Doshi, it has this, I think, rather ugly, in my opinion at least, touch screen, which is a little in contrast with the whole vintage philosophy, in my opinion. In any case, thanks to this, you can really set everything as you prefer. It has every type of speed, every type of equalization. Very, very cool. Just one downside, we could say it has only balance connections, which I'm sure for a lot of you it's something positive, but a lot of people want also a choice, meaning unbalanced RCA. Okay, let's proceed with a very famous TED preamp, now discontinued the Manley, which is actually a combination, a combo, two, one per channel, with the power supply here below. Unfortunately, as you can see, dead, discontinued. But you may be lucky and find it out in the used market. And this, once again, clearly, as I would say most of Manley's products, this is a little jewel and very sought after. Unfortunately, they stopped making in 2005, and not that many hit the used market. Even in this case, we have a full tube type of preamp and all the speeds, all the way up to 30 IPS, NAB, CCIR, or IEC, balanced connections. Okay, very, very cool. Let's proceed now to something that we are awaiting, actually. The analog high-fidelity DB1, and also number 2, which should be a little better. Here's just to show you a little bit. Unfortunately, this is a Canadian product, and it's not available. It has been out here advertised, but it's not hitting the market. I have no idea why. I also wrote to them. Nobody ever answered me. So what can I say? This seems, though, a very good type of preamp when most of the functions needed. It also has a phono preamp inside. It also says here cassette, which could be a type of preamp for a cassette head. I'm not sure. But this seems very promising. It also has an external power supply based on tubes. I mean, it really seems something cool. But once again, I've been waiting to know when this is coming out, and nothing is to know about it. So, but I did want to mention it. You never know. Okay, let's proceed now with a classic, the Tube Repro by Bottlehead. Very ugly photos. You can barely understand what this is. You've seen the price of all these. I'm not going to mention them. I mean, you just have to read them. All tube. I would say not my first choice. I mean, this was strictly connected to the tape project. They pioneered this, but now there are much better options out there. Obviously, as I said in the beginning, all of these opinions I am stating are not opinions based on experience. I'm just saying what I am breathing, what I am listening, what I am reading, okay? So take everything with a grain of salt because, once again, you never know. But this is my take on this and the ones before. This is specially designed actually for the flux magnetic type of heads, meaning medium to high inductance. Remember, inductance is something paramount in heads and the respective cables. You really have to pay attention to this. And it's based on the EF86 6DJ8 and the 6CM7 tubes. Unfortunately, there's no speed equalization. It just goes on NAB or CCR. Probably because there isn't that much of a difference audibly, but it's always better to have all the speeds and all the equalizations respectively, the different combinations. Okay, let's proceed with a very famous model, but unfortunately, once again, not anymore in production. The De Havilland Model 222 Mark II. This was only, I would say, $2,300, and it's based actually on the Ampex 350, 351. It has only unbalanced connections. There's no speed EQ even here, only NAB IEC like the one before, based on 12AX7, the 5687, and the 6XX4. And this, according to many, many people, is just a bargain. Very, very good for a very good price. And unfortunately, they stopped making them. Nevertheless, maybe you're lucky enough to find one, grab it, because it has excellent resale value if you don't like it, obviously. Okay, let's proceed with a very best buy. By Erhard Audio, we have the Titan 2, and what you're looking at is the Titan 3. the better one, we could say, where you can customize a little bit the looks, and you can actually ask for balanced connections or only unbalanced. And this is a great combination because the Titan 2 is a hybrid solution, okay? The Titan 3, though, is fully tube based on the 6922, the E88CC, and the 6N23P EV. They have inside a Lundell LL1544A transformer. Lundell transformers are among the best today. And also here we have practically all the speeds. Unfortunately, you cannot have the 30 IPS, which I must admit it's rarely used. You can have it, but only with the IEC machine, not NAB, because that was born actually as IEC, that type of speed. But apart from that, as you can see, it goes from 2,000 to a maximum of 2,350. Very, very good. This is really one of the best buys out there. As you can see, you also can change the voltage. Very, very cool. Absolutely. Best buy here. Another one seems a good compromise, even though not that many functions, is the Eternal Arts Universal Tape Stage. It goes around $2,500, $600, 2,500 euro, based on the PC86 tubes. Unfortunately, there's no EQ, no speed, no nothing, because it should be universal. But this wouldn't be my first choice, because unfortunately you do need equalization selections, absolutely, in terms of speed and in terms of curve. Nevertheless, if you find one for cheap, why not try? So this is another solution. Okay, our next choice is the C Audio Tape Top. They used to do different versions. Now they only do the titanium ones. It has a separate power supply. It's based on ECC83 and ECC88. It has all the equalizations, all the speed, only unbalanced outputs, but you can ask the engineer, Mr. Fulvo Chiappetta, to customize everything, no problem. And I want to disclose finally that this is the one I got. Yes, guys. Actually a year ago, but I still trying to understand its full potential. I changed the tubes. We had a little problems in the beginning with the shipping. I do want to understand and fully burn in this product before presenting it on the channel. But I do want to disclose that this is my choice, also because it was in Italy. Quite expensive. In any case, I'll go in depth in the next video where I will talk only about this, okay? But if you are filthy rich, if I was you, I would go with the next choice, which is something simply amazing. The Hachidori Fukami, a work of art. Not only it is extremely gorgeous, all tube-based, it's just something astonishing, at least looking at it, reading the specs, reading the forums. This is probably the best preamp, modern preamp out there available. Wow. Here we have a tube based on a 12BH7 and a 12AX7. But you have, as you can see, it's very similar actually to the MR70 or the Ampix style. All the different curves. You also have a phono preamp if you want. I mean, gorgeous VU meters. The engineering is very special for the airing, the soldering. It's something at another level, clearly. Just at another level. Here you have a few of the specifications. Only this is the power supply for the guy. Incredible. Just incredible. And considering you can use it also as a phono preamp, already this could be something useful for you guys. And let's say a little more forgiving when you know the price, which goes actually for $75,000. Oh, yes, baby. Okay. Apart from this, I just want to mention that a lot of vintage preamps also featured an integrated tape head preamp. For example, the Macintosh C22, which I purchased actually a few months. I also want to undisclose this. I want to mention this because a lot of times I'm not able to present everything on the channel because I don't have enough time, unfortunately. But I have been testing this. Maybe I'll do a video. I still have it. Great stuff. Very versatile. You can do so many things. And among this, you also have, as you can see here, and this is just an example, as I said before, there are many other ones that have a tape head input. See? Unfortunately, though, when you take a look at how to control it, it's mainly dedicated, or at least the presets are on NAB. You can fiddle around and try to understand where IEC is located, because in America that was the main curve. Nevertheless, you do have something already integrated which you could use to do this amazing operation of sending the reel-to-reel signal to one of these fantastic babies. Okay, last but not least, I also wanted to put a mention of a very special type of preamplifier. Actually, a cassette head preamplifier made by a brand called Nereneas. They actually contacted me, asking if I wanted to review the Casus, which I would love to do. But currently they are doing mainly specific combinations with specific decks, okay? You just can't connect it with a head output to anything. It's a little more complex than that. But they told me that they're trying to study a way to be autonomous, to connect it to whatever you want. Clearly, you're always going to have to do the mod in order to use it as an external preamp. They also have a phono preamp. Both of them seem very promising. And at a certain point, I do want to review this because it's something unique, amazing. And if you think that cassettes are so very good, but a lot of times maybe we're missing out because of the preamp, just as in the reel-to-reel case. Okay, guys, this is the end.
Okay, guys. As I told you, we will go more in depth in the one I've chosen, even though maybe in the future I will explore something else. The ones I'm looking after are not being released. There's always some problems. As I said in the beginning of the video, we will do a follow-up to give you some ideas on how to do these mods. Because, for example, I had my mod done because I bought the preamp from the person that did the preamp, the engineer Fulvio Chiappetta, which is a mythical figure here in Italy, a very renowned engineer. That's why I also wanted to try explore his products. He makes incredible stuff, as we will see in the future video. Please write down in the comments the models you know that are not in this list. We are all very interested. More options. That's why we are creating this community, to exchange information. So please do. Okay, guys. I hope this video was useful. Thank you for watching. And remember that music is born analog. Bye.
Well, guys, if you're enjoying my videos and you're enjoying my channel, please consider to subscribe by clicking the black and white logo here below. Also, don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll never miss an episode and you will become a true member of the analog community.